This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
Welcome to Finish Lines and Milestones, a podcast to celebrate the everyday runner. I'm your host, Allie Bretnacher, and if you run, you're a runner, and every runner has a story. Join me each week as I share these stories, and we celebrate finish lines and milestones together. This week's episode is brought to you by Cure Hydration. Cure is a plant-based hydrating electrolyte drink mix with no added sugar. It's a natural, delicious, and convenient way to keep you and your whole family hydrated without the artificial stuff. I have been using Cure now for months and months. They have so many fun flavors, and especially for the kiddos. Think pink lemonade. My kid loves it, my 4-year-old especially. When she will order lemonade, I actually keep some in my purse, and I'll use that instead of the sugary restaurant stuff, and she doesn't really know the difference. So, winning. But everybody needs more hydration in their lives, especially us as runners. So if you would like to try a new way to hydrate with Cure Hydration, you can go to curehydration.com/AllieB, ALLYB, and Cure is offering 20% off of your first order for Finish Lines and Milestones listeners. Stay hydrated and feel your best by visiting curehydration.com/AllieB. Use code AllieB at checkout. Thank you so much to Cure Hydration for supporting this podcast. Okay, now for a quick story before I get into this week's episode. So my dad and I are running the Marine Corps Marathon, which is on October 26th in Washington, D.C. And I'm reaching out to him because I'm like, hey, you got to find a specific time to get your bib. So I'm telling him like what email he needs to find, the time that I'd picked, whatever. So this is when he realizes that he accidentally registered for the virtual edition, not the in-person edition. So he had not received these emails, and we go into a full-blown panic mode because the race is sold out. The date to transfer bibs has passed. I reached out to the charity Ainsley's Angels that I'm running with to see if they had any extra bibs, but same thing. The date to transfer has passed. We're out of luck. I emailed the race director, and then I posted on Instagram, and so many people shared and were so kind with their comments and good vibes. Amanda Nichols, special shout out, reach out to the team to be like, hey, here's my bib, like he can have it. His name is Mark Hill from Carmel. And so thank you, Amanda. And then, you know, my friend Eileen Poor, she reached out to the race director as well. I mean, there's just so many people. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The Marine Corps team got back to my dad, actually called him and helped him get switched over. I even got a nice note from the race director as well. So for anybody who's giving the team crap for not being communicative, which I see a lot in the Facebook group, sadly, this team is exceptional. They are working their butts off to have this 50th anniversary marathon happen. Hopefully, you know, fun fact, the last time that my dad and I did Marine Corps was 12 years ago, and there was also a government shutdown at that time. Thankfully, it was resolved before the race. This time, it's not looking great. So hard to know where that puts us, but you know, that's out of our hands. And I know that the MCM team is working so hard to make it happen. So anyway, great news. I'm so happy that was resolved. Now I can focus on kicking whatever cold I have. And tomorrow it'll be the 10-day weather forecast and I can start obsessing about the weather. If you know, you know, and I know you all know. I know I'm in good company there. So this week's guest, I am proud to introduce Chase Adams. Chase and I, like many of my guests, we met first on the internet, and then I had a chance to meet him in person. Chase is from Southern Indiana in Vincennes, and as I record this, is on his way home from Greece, where him and his wife celebrated their honeymoon, belated, because they got married in 2020. So this was their 5-year wedding anniversary. So I hope that they had a wonderful trip. Very jealous of that. I've never been to Greece. But Chase and I recently got to see each other at the Indy Half as well at Fort Bend, which we talk about during this episode. And then his next race is the Indy Monumental, which is on November 8th, which gives me a chance to plug the live podcast event that Lindsay Hine and I are hosting. So if you are going to be at Indy Monumental, make sure you check out the link in the show notes or on my Instagram. To get tickets, we have Emily Infeld as our guest of honor for a live event at the Bottleworks Hotel. It's going to be amazing. So make sure you come. So Chase and I also just talk about how he got into running. He actually made it to state in the 800 at one point. And what I found was nuts is Chase actually signed up for his first marathon while he was on work release from jail. not something I saw coming. And he is also now the co-host of a podcast. It is called Run Talk Live. And he met his 2 co-hosts on the internet as well. So I just love that story. We talk all about Boston, Carmel, Chicago, Berlin, Mesa, Flying Pig, a lot of the races that he's done. And Chase is one of those people who's actually won a race. So an everyday runner who has actually won a race in his hometown at the Vincennes Half Marathon. And he crossed the finish line holding his dog Oliver, which I love so much. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with my friend Chase Adams. Well, hi, Chase.
Hey. Hi.
Thanks for driving up to Carmel.
Hey, no problem. I come up here quite a bit. So.
Your sister and one of your best friends?
Yeah, pretty much my best running buddy. We've been running together since we were kids.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
He's over in Lawrence. So.
Okay, that's not too far.
Yeah.
Are you going to run the Indy Half this year? Does he run it?
He doesn't. Well, he probably will, actually. That's kind of one of the perennial ones that we do every year, and I love that race. So the Fort Bend race is probably my favorite. It's one of my favorite races, period. Like, I just love it.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It is. The course is just gorgeous. It's a little hilly, so like it's challenging. That's why people kind of stay away from it, but it's beautiful. Just being able to run through the park and everything.
Yeah, it is. I didn't run it until I joined the board for Monumental.
Oh, really?
And I was like, well, I should probably see what that race is about. I had always stayed away because I thought it was hilly, and it's not that bad.
No, it's really
like
not.
There's definitely one big hill, but now we put a timing mat at the bottom of the
right.
cup.
So yeah, they try to
You try to kill the hill.
Yeah.
Which I have mixed feelings about depending on how my race is going. But,
yep, I'm the same way. I think there's been a few times where I like just went out there and did it for fun, and I was like, and then I'm just gonna kill that hill whenever, and then I get there and I'm just like, nah, never mind.
Yeah, because what is it, mile 11 or something
like that? It's pretty far.
A really mean location, really, because it's like towards the end. But have you ever done the Geist Half Marathon? Okay, so it's another local one in Fishers around the Geist Reservoir, and it's that one. I've done a bunch, and it's really hilly compared to Fort Bend.
Really?
So then I was like, well, why did I ignore Fort Bend this whole time? Because it's beautiful. And I mean, I like Geist too, but Fort Bend now has a special place in my heart. And it's the 30th year this year.
Yeah, I know. And I actually didn't know that. I wasn't going to do it this year because like I'm actually an hour north of Evansville.
Okay.
But I've never done the Evansville half. So that's a pretty flat, fast one. So I was going to do that this year, but then I think it was your podcast. I was listening to it and I was, oh, it's the 30th year this year. Well, then I got to do Fort Bend. So
yeah, you do.
So yeah.
And they just revealed the medal, and it spins, and it's so pretty.
Oh, nice.
I'm not really a medal person necessarily, but I like it.
I mean, if you put the work into it, like I really enjoy.
I like a medal. Don't get me wrong, but I don't sign up for a race because of what the medal looks like.
Yeah.
I should clarify. I'm very much a medal person. I keep all mine.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you keep all your medals on display at home?
Mostly, yeah. I've got a couple different racks, and then my majors, I have their own separate things. So
yeah,
I've got one for all of my Indython medals.
Oh,
so
that's
all
cool.
my Fort Bend and all my monumental medals.
Yeah.
Because like one year I got one of the scarf or something for doing the whole series. So it's just hanging up above that, and that's where I put all those every year.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I do that I have my Indy Mini medals all on one rack because my husband does that too sometimes, so that we have so many. And then, I need to redo my whole display, which I'm excited about.
I do too. So I'm not excited about it, but
yeah,
it's a lot of hanging and a lot of moving things around on the wall.
That's true. But that's why I've been kind of putting it off. I'm like, I know I have a vision of what I want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. So you also host a podcast.
I do.
A running podcast.
Co-host.
So tell people about that.
Well, so it's called Run Talk Live. Me and 2 other people, Jake and Carolyn. And it all kind of started a few years ago around the pandemic time. That's kind of what got me into like doing social media, just like a lot of other people, right? Like a bunch of people got into it around that. A bunch of people also got into running around that too. So,
very true.
I was looking at YouTube videos. I was doing some stuff like that. And then I discovered TikTok. And when I discovered that short form content, I was like, oh, this is a lot easier, less time consuming. Like I was addicted right away, just like a lot of people are with TikTok. But I found the running community in TikTok, Run Talk, or so it's called. And that was just a lot of fun. I found people that, my wife's not really into running. I don't have a lot of people that work with me that are into running. Yeah. So it was cool to have that community to just talk to about.
Yeah, that outlet. You're like, get this out somehow.
Right. Yeah. So it was awesome to just have that community and find that. And not too long after I joined, this one guy named the Cultural Runner,
Okay.
he tagged me in a video and was like, "Hey, you should check this guy out." And that ended up being Jacob Irwin, my co-host. That's Jake.
And so that's how you kind of met.
That's how I
really
met
him.
Jake.
Okay.
So yeah, and
That's cool.
So I just shot him a message. I was like, "Hey, thanks for tagging me in that. I appreciate it." And we started talking, found out that we're both like super nerds. He's a big Spider-Man guy. I'm a big Superman guy.
Is there any rivalry in that case? I don't know anything.
No, not really.
So you're allowed to like different
we're
ones.
fine.
Okay.
He's kind of a Marvel guy. I'm kind of a DC guy, and
that's kind of what I was getting at, I guess. I don't know enough about.
But at the end of the day, we like comics. I was actually down visiting him last month, and we went to go see the new Superman movie together. So that was kind of cool.
That's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in Florida.
Yes,
okay.
he is.
What part of Florida is he in?
Jacksonville area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which actually
inland? Is that inland or is it on the?
No, it's right on the coast.
Okay.
So it's North Atlantic side.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and they've got a really great running community down there, like a really awesome and like competitive running. It's a big reason why he moved there. But
interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
But so anyway, yeah, I met him and we started talking, and then eventually he was like, "Hey, I want to do this live event," and I was thinking of doing this every week, and I was like, "Hey, that sounds fun. I'd count me in." He's like, "This other person I've been talking to, Carolyn, she's wanting to do it too," and I was like, "All right, cool." So it started out as just us getting together every week and doing TikTok live and taking questions and talking and that sort of thing.
What is it like doing the live? The live scares me.
It was interesting. I mean, that was like kind of our first little attempt at doing a show together and kind of talking together. So it allowed engagement from other people though. So that was kind of nice. We got to like have the content was coming from the questions that were being asked.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, you kind of get that load kind of lifted off your shoulders of having something to talk about or needing something to talk about.
Right. Yeah.
So that was kind of neat. But then over time, we were busy people. We've all got jobs and families and things like that. So eventually we were like, we can't get together every week and do this.
A lot.
So we just talked. We're like, why don't we just do a podcast and then we can record whenever we want.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started.
That's cool. And how long has it been now? A couple years?
A couple years. We've done 57 episodes, I think.
Great.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I mean,
so much.
It really is. Like, again, just having somebody to talk to about running on a regular basis.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more because, my husband's like, is Kelly, right? Your wife?
Yes.
Kelly. My husband's like, Kelly. He's like, I don't really, I support your running, but I don't really need to hear about how your run was today. I don't, support you, but good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to have the outlet, especially with social media, which I think you've talked about how it has, it's good and bad.
Yeah.
But mostly good, I would say, at least for the inspiration, motivation, community that you can get there. I'm not very good at TikTok. I'm trying to become better where I just post. I know you're not really supposed to just post what you post on Instagram right on TikTok. They're completely different platforms, but it gets overwhelming. So
yeah, there's so much going on. And I think that, I tried doing all of it there for a while and I just had to take a step back because it's a lot. So
yeah. When you have a normal job, a full-time job, what do you do for your day job?
I work in automotive manufacturing for a tier 1 Toyota supplier. So I'm actually in the Toyota umbrella.
Okay. Yeah. That tracks for Southern Indiana, I suppose. Probably a lot of that down there.
Yep. We supplied directly to the Princeton plant down there. So.
Okay, cool. And so we didn't talk about where specifically you were from when we first started because we talked about how you drove up here, but tell people about where you're from and what that area, the state and the country is like.
Yeah, sure. Vincennes, Indiana. So pronunciation there, and a lot of people say Vincennes because it's spelled funny.
Oh, that is funny. I guess I just know because I'm from Indiana and I've heard it so many times.
Yeah, so Vincennes is it's actually got a really rich history. First capital of Indiana, the first city of Indiana. Yeah, first college in Indiana. So
wow, I had no idea. What's the college down there?
Vincennes University.
Okay,
it's a junior college now, but it was. You kind of learn all that, obviously, living in the town.
Right.
But we have a national monument, too. Not a lot of people know that. The George Rogers Clark Memorial. So
who is George Rogers? Do you know?
He was like a colonial
guy.
Yeah. French and Indian War. There's forts. I run through his forts all the time.
Okay. So that's funny. You're so it's there and it's national. So
yeah, it's cool.
That's cool.
Right.
Yeah, that's about the extent I know about you talk about monumental, I don't really know. I probably should know more, frankly, but I don't. Okay. And so were you born there?
No, I wasn't. I was actually born in Florida, Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so do you still have family down there?
Oh yeah, a lot of family. That's kind of what I was down there. I wasn't really just solely visiting Jake. I was down there visiting my grandparents. So.
Oh, that's nice too. And then you go and you run Disney down there. So that's
yeah, do that
an
on.
excuse to visit
Mm-hmm.
family too.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And how'd you end up in Indiana?
Just when I was young, I think my grandparents moved up here, business venture, and my mom followed them
Okay.
at the time, single mom, and eventually met my stepdad, and we stayed. So.
Wow. And you have siblings?
Mm-hmm.
How many?
3, 1 sister, 2 brothers.
Okay. Younger, older?
All younger. Yeah.
Oh, you're the oldest
I
child.
am
So
the
am I.
oldest child. Yeah.
Oldest children unite.
Yeah, you got to go through all that, and you got to watch all the stuff that you did
I
that they
know.
don't get in trouble for.
Yeah,
That thing.
it's like, people are like, oh, yes, you're like the role model. I was like, well, kind in some ways, but I was also very much the model of what not to do for my sisters.
I always say that I just wore my parents down, so
Yeah.
I'm the one that broke them down for the others to get to have a little bit more fun.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, somebody has to do it.
Right.
I always talk to my oldest daughter about that. I'm like, it's hard to be the oldest, but it's just, there's not much you can do about it. You're the oldest. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
pave the way.
Yep.
I know how you feel. So, okay. So oldest of 4 kids. So was your mom always a single mom growing up?
No, not always. My stepdad kind of came into the picture not too long. I was probably 9, I think, when they got
Okay.
married.
Okay.
So, and then my brothers came along, and I mean, it didn't, from my perspective, it really doesn't seem like she was doing that for very long.
Yeah. Although, gosh, yeah, I can't imagine yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we could go down a whole rabbit hole,
Oh,
I'm
sure.
So when you were younger, did you play a lot of sports growing up?
I did, but cross country and track were always kind of the big ones for me,
Okay.
just because as a lifelong runner, I think I always joke around that my parents just threw me out there because that would wear me down, just
Uh-huh.
running circles and whatnot. But there was just always something about it that it helped that I was a little bit good at it, right? Like I had some natural talent, so it felt good being like the fastest kid on the playground and all that. But over the years, like that's just always been what it holds me together, is just running. So yeah, even as a kid, just track and cross country like helped me kind of get through school. Like it was kind of my motivation a long time to get the grades that I needed just to be eligible for track.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents had high expectations too, so I had to do even better than just what the minimum expectation was.
Yeah. So what events did you run?
Mostly distance. I dabbled into mid distance is kind of my what ended up kind of being my forte later on. As far as like the 800 is what I went to state in.
To stay in the 800.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That was a fun experience. I would have liked to do it a couple more times, but
Sure.
things
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, it was awesome. Like I was psyched to be there. I think I got like second or third to last when I was there, but that was fine.
Whatever.
I was just happy to be there. I knew I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna win. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like people that make it qualify for the Olympic trials, right? It's like
Mhm.
that is the finish
Yep,
line.
that's
It's making it there. You don't
right.
expect to then,
right.
win there. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then for cross country, how was cross country compared to track for you?
I enjoyed cross country a lot, probably more than track maybe, but I never made it to state. I always kind of fizzled out later on in the year. I think that was just everybody gets coached in different ways, and it wasn't until like my college years that I started to kind of realize some of my tendencies and what worked for me versus what didn't. But yeah, I loved cross country in high school. Like it was probably my favorite.
I'm always jealous of people that did cross country growing up because I had never tried it. I was a soccer player. I did tennis. I did track for 1 year. I did basketball once. That was not good. But I always wonder what could have been. It's like now I feel like I could have had, a run at being good at that sport. But what it could have, should have. Now I'm just chasing my best as an adult.
I'm sure a lot of people are feeling that way, with the way that so many people have gotten into running.
Right. Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are probably looking at that. And
Yeah.
I think probably more kids are going to end up getting into cross country because of that.
Yeah. Right. And that's one of the things you just hope. I just don't want to burn out or like burn my kids out, I should say. But
Yeah.
obviously you never burned out. Did you have times in your life where you did not run? Or
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's times when life things happen and the motivation's not there, or But at the end of the day, like I said, it always kind of brings me back to center, and it keeps me sane, and it just kind of helps me clear my head. I mean, that's all the reasons that I tell people that I run. So.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you mentioned college years. So you went to college, but you didn't finish college. Did I read that somewhere or hear
Yeah,
that
yeah,
somewhere?
that's
Okay.
right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I went to Vincennes University, so like
Okay.
my local college, junior college, but still a great like experience. We
What does
still
junior college mean? I don't know what that means.
it's like the 2-year colleges basically.
Got it.
I
Is it similar to a community college then?
yes, so it
Okay,
is a
okay, okay.
community college.
Okay,
It's just
got it.
labeled a university. I think just because it's always been a university.
Yeah,
They
okay.
do offer 4-year programs, but no,
Yeah,
that's something
okay.
else. But yeah, I went there and I ran cross country there for track and cross country for
Wow.
2 years there. But again, even in college, that was the only reason that I was there. So like my grades were bare minimum. I didn't walk away from there with any kind of degree to show for it. So
Yeah.
when it was all said and done, I was just like, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, okay, great. Now what do I do with my life?
Right.
Yeah. I felt kind of similar anyway, even though going to like a traditional
Mhm.
college, but I was not a collegiate athlete. I just partied and kept my grades at a bare minimum. So that was my athletics, I guess you could say, which looking back, you're like, wow, I just have so much respect for student athletes that are able to manage both those things, even if it's at a bare minimum. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it was even for community college, we still had, classes that we had to go to, but we had parties too that we did.
Yeah.
But we got to travel and see things too. Like our junior college nationals were in El Paso, Texas.
Okay, that's cool.
So that was really cool. And we got to travel. We were up in Michigan a lot. So I got to travel around and do some pretty cool stuff as a part of that. Even
Right,
just
that's
being
neat.
even just being in a community college. And I know that like college sports is kind of like iffy right now with the landscape of everything, but I would not trade that time for anything. So
Yeah.
if anybody gets the opportunity to do college sports, I would definitely do it, whether you're walking on or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure you just learn so much
It was
through
like
that experience.
and it's nothing against my high school coach. Like he's one of the, I look up to him more than almost anybody on this planet. But I think that, he didn't have the full knowledge to be able to coach me effectively or maybe coach effectively. He just, he did good enough for high school
Yeah.
track and cross country. But when I got to college and my coach had a really good knowledge and experience, he was able to just kind of unlock something in me that, led me to having some of my best times that
Yeah.
look back on, wonder where that speed went.
Yeah. Well,
Time.
well, get older.
Right.
How old are you?
40.
Okay. So I thought I'm 39. So I'm like knocking on the door.
Mm.
Next July, I turn 40. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think that my fastest times in certain things, right? Like certain distances are ahead of me. At least I hope so. So actually, I want to talk about how you figured out what to do after college because you're like, what do I do now? How did you figure out where to go from there?
That took a long time and a lot of a lot of hard life lessons, really, because I, tried my hand at a few different things. First thing I tried was the military. That was,
Okay.
yeah, that was kind of something that I sat down with my dad and I didn't know what to do, and we decided on that, and then we decided on the Air Force because of opportunities that came of it, and that was all well and good. So I went to basic training and went to the Air Force. I was in school for air traffic control.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it was, and it was, I have no negativity towards being in the military, but it didn't last very long for me, and it was all a timing issue. I went in right as I was turning 21, so made some bad decisions, did some things, and got made an example of. Is what it is,
Right.
but that's why I don't have anything against them. I made the mistakes. But then I came home and, still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with life. Tried to go back to school. That didn't really work out again. Ultimately got into some trouble and ended up spending a stint in jail. I was drinking and driving, but I remember when I went in there, I knew at that point that it was time to find a direction in life. It was time to do something. Like I just had to find something and just stick to it. So after I got moved from jail into like a work release program,
Okay.
and I started working at the place that I am now.
Okay.
So it was at the time as ATS. Now we're called Toyota Boshiku. But as soon as I started working there and saw the opportunities that came from just that industry, I saw an opportunity to have a career.
Yeah.
So as soon as that set in, then I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what kind of direction I wanted to take in life. And then the next thing was kind of finding my running journey again. So I signed up for my first marathon before I had even gotten out of the work release program.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's
I didn't even,
interesting.
like, I wasn't even supposed to be released yet by the time the marathon was coming up. But I knew I wanted to do it, and I was getting out. Like, you get like day passes and things to do things. And when I was spending that time running, I would go to my parents' house and run. So I knew I wanted to train for a marathon. I knew I wanted to run for a marathon, and then I called up a lawyer, and he was able to get me out early. So I really only had about 8 weeks to train for that first marathon after all that was said and done. But
that's nuts.
But yeah, that's kind of how I came around to running again. And that's the Cliff Notes version of how I figured out what direction I wanted to take in life.
So work release. Does that mean you're still in jail most of the time, and then you're released to be able to like work throughout the day, and then you go back? Is that how that works?
Pretty much, yeah. They let you out to go to work, and then you come back to sleep and eat and all that stuff.
Okay. And so how long were you on the work release part of it?
About 9 months, I'd say.
Yeah. Geez. Oh my gosh. And you're like, well, just how do you even sign up for a marathon, like on work release? Do you access?
Well, like I said, I get those day passes. So like I would go home, and that was when, me and my dad would have a lot of serious conversations on those days.
Yeah.
And I was just told him things were looking really good at work.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I want to run a marathon. And he said, okay, well, how are we going to do that?
Yeah. Like what? How? And then, so which marathon did you sign up for as the first one?
Fort Bend.
Okay. Back when it was a marathon.
When they did a full marathon. Yeah. That was my very first marathon.
Wow.
Another reason why I love that race
special,
so much.
Yeah. Fort Bend. Okay. And what year would that have been?
13, I think.
13. So
13 or 14.
Okay. So that's, over a decade ago. And so you would have been around 30 years old then at that time. And at what point in your life did you meet Kelly, your wife?
I was around that time.
Okay. How did you meet?
Work.
Okay.
Yep. We met at work.
Look at all that coming together. So, so you met through work, and you're training for this marathon. What did you meet her?
I did.
After you were already done the marathon, or while you were training, or?
Met while we were training, didn't actually start dating until afterwards.
Okay.
Because I was kind of, she knew where I was.
Yeah.
So like, and I had to kind of get out. So that was a whole thing. But it was after I'd done that marathon.
Yeah. Well, clearly she could see in you that you were, you're signing up for a marathon, putting in the work, So that's cool. So, okay. And then you signed up for the marathon, you're training for the marathon. How did you know how to train for the marathon? Like, do you even remember how you did that?
I have no clue. I think maybe I looked up like a Hal Higdon plan or something.
That's my first one.
I was coming off of I was running like 5 miles on the days that I could. Whenever I was at my parents' house. So then whenever I got out, I had to spend, I had like 8 weeks to try and figure that out. And I really just kind of ran miles. I'll never forget that. I had no idea how to train. Like that race, I was probably the fastest 15 miles I've ever ran in my life. Like I was definitely a 15-mile PR at that point.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the race was
that sounds so painful.
Miserable.
Yeah.
So it's a lot like a lot of stories with their first marathon. But
don't go out too fast.
But I had absolutely no idea how to train for a marathon.
Yeah, or what you're doing. So down where you're from in the Vincennes area, where would you run? Like I picture country roads, like where you would run. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Especially like when you really when you try to do those longer runs. Me, I like, especially in the summertime, I like to do loops around town, so it keeps it local and you don't get into the cornfields and whatnot.
Yeah.
Plus it's dark, so I like the lights and the sidewalks and all that.
Right. Yeah, because we talked about you're a morning runner. And so have you always been a morning runner since you've done distance stuff? More or less.
At least as an adult. Like even I was on night shift for a long time. And even then, I had to run before work. So I told people for a long time when I went to the day shift schedule, I actually got more sunlight when I was on nights because I'd wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and go run before I had to go to work all night. So now I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning before I have to go to work all day.
That is wild to think about. Night shift. I don't know many people who've worked night shift jobs.
It takes a certain breed. So.
Well, especially when you are, have a wife. Does she
Mhm.
work night shifts too, though?
Yeah, we were both on
Okay.
nights together for
Well, that
a
helps
long
then,
time.
obviously, because if you're off, then you just like never see each other probably in that case.
Yeah, we were actually like I went to days about a year before she did, and
Oh yeah, that's
that was
hard.
rough.
Yeah, that would be rough. Yeah, you talk about like ships in a night. You're like, have fun at work.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So now you're both on days.
hmm
That's nice.
And I don't have to take excessive PTO for a Saturday race anymore, because that's the problem with being on nights. Is like I work Friday night, but if I want to run a race on Saturday morning, I'd have to take PTO for Friday night.
Right. I didn't even think
Take a
about that.
vacation day.
And then it would probably be so hard. I mean, I talk about how it's hard to sleep the night before a race, but in that case, you're used to being awake all night.
Yeah, you got to flip your schedule real quick.
Just like out of nowhere. That's crazy. Yeah, and take more time off.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. That's so interesting. Okay. And then did you have like a GPS watch at this point too? Because I'm trying to picture out how you would even map out your mileage, know how far you were going.
I can't remember. I know, like, my parents have lived in the same house since I was in like 5th grade, I think.
Okay.
So, I got my routes around home since
So you knew.
the dawn of time. Yeah, but I think I got my first GPS watch. It was a Timex Ironman GPS watch. Not too long after that. It might have been before the marathon.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It'd be a good excuse to get one. You're training for a marathon, but also, yeah.
I remember how
I was
big
trying to remember when they came out. I
remember how big that thing was. It made my Garmin look itty bitty.
Really, it was like a calculator on your wrist. That's so funny
huge.
to think about. Okay, so then you run your first marathon at Fort Bend, which used to have a full marathon. And so at that point, like, talk about the race. Sounded pretty brutal based on what you just said about 15 miles really fast and then not. But do you remember how it felt to finish, and like, were you like, sign me up for the next one right away?
I think I felt fairly positive coming away from that one. Like I kind of laughed it off. Like I was like, okay, that was dumb.
Well, learn that lesson the hard way. Yeah.
But the goal was always to qualify for Boston. Talking about my high school coach again.
Okay.
He ran Boston whenever I was in high school, whenever he was coaching.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how'd you even know that was a thing?
So, yeah. So that was always kind of why I wanted to run Boston. I saw him do it, and that kind of became a lifelong goal for me at that point. So even though one was down, I knew that I just had to get back up and find the next one.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the next one?
I don't remember actually. That was probably Monumental. Or I might not have done another like big race until the Mini the next year.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to. Do you know how many races you've done?
I have no idea. Like,
gosh.
I know I don't think I'm to 15 full marathons yet. Half marathons, I'm probably 20s, 30s. I'm not even sure.
That's great. I have to know. I can't remember when I made my spreadsheet, but it took some time. I had to go back and like look at each race to figure out which years I ran. But okay, so probably Monumental. Maybe what are the other? Did you qualify at Monumental, the second marathon?
No, it was actually quite a long time before I qualified.
Okay.
It took some work. I get some beat downs really before I finally qualified for Boston, but I did. That was good. But Monumental a few times really. I would go into it feeling pretty good, and again, still don't really have a clue how to train for a marathon, and I haven't really, like, I think maybe I bought some training plans online or something, but I never got a coach.
Yeah.
So I was doing all these races and I was constantly being let down. I wasn't running the times that I thought I could run. And then what was even worse, and I talked about my best friend as a kid. He kind of had the same goal. He wanted to qualify for Boston. He kept running too. But even though we're really good friends, it's always been a frenemy type situation. So I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
And he started running a lot faster than me, and it really bugged me.
That's so hard, isn't it? I've had the same situation with one of my friends, Ashley. And she still hasn't qualified for Boston, but she was pretty damn close. And I remember being just so jealous. I'm like, okay, I've got to get out. I got to figure out how not to let my own competitiveness like get in the way of me like being one of her biggest fans. It's such a hard thing when you're so competitive.
It was. I mean, I really was happy for him because he'd had his own stuff throughout life. So it was really good to see him. He broke 3 hours before I did. And then I actually had a DNF at Monumental in 19.
Oh no, what happened?
Calf strain. Like, I kind of went into it with a bit of a niggle already.
Yeah.
And I could really feel it early on in the race.
Mm.
And we got to that split where you can take the half
Yep.
or you can go the full.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. And got to about 10 miles and I could not walk anymore. It was,
Oh no.
it was just bad. So that was a rough one because also he ran like 2:45
Oh
that
my gosh.
day.
And you're just like, oh.
Yeah. And I did. I about gave it up. Like that was really a tough situation to go through, was that first DNF. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I know everybody does it, but a lot of people go through it anyway.
Right.
But that was really hard on the mentality
Yeah.
to try and keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing knocks you down like that. You're like, okay, great. I couldn't even do it.
Yeah.
Especially after all the hard work you put in training wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've had one DNF at a marathon. I tried to do the Philadelphia Marathon after I'd already done Chicago the same year. And I got super sick. Like I had no business running at all, but I was very stubborn and I had traveled for it and I was with my girlfriends. And yeah, it was the same situation as Monumental, but it was like right at the halfway point, it split. And so, you could just, peace, I'm going to go just like finish the race, the half.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, so that's what I ended up doing there. I don't know if I'll ever go for redemption, but how did you get back after that?
It was really fortunate because my sister and I had already signed up for Dopey that very next January. So
and that's not a small thing. Signing up for
no.
that.
So yeah, I'd already committed to the next race essentially.
Yeah.
So I spent the next 2 months really, because Monumental's in November, Dopey's in January, kind of telling myself I'm just going to get through Dopey and we're just going to get this out of the way, and then I'm going to take a nice long break and really kind of evaluate things. But that's not how it worked. Went down there to
last words.
Yeah, went down to Disney and came back just raring to go. I
Oh
was
my gosh.
reinvigorated out of just like nothing else. I had like the fire inside of me. It was just totally
You're like,
ignited,
I'm in.
ready to go.
Let's figure it out.
150%.
Yeah. For people listening who don't know what Dopey is, will
Mhm.
you explain that?
So Dopey, every year, Disney has their marathon weekend. Of course, they have a lot of different running events throughout the year, but most of them top out at like a half marathon. This is their full marathon weekend that they do. And over the course of that weekend, they do a 5K on the Thursday. They do a 10K on Friday, a half marathon on Saturday,
That's so crazy.
and then a full marathon on Sunday. And to do the Dopey Challenge, you do all 4 races, all 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just wild. I know I've had people on that have done that. I'm just like trying to fathom being able to. So was that the first year you did Dopey in
Yep.
2019?
It was
Or-
2020.
Oh, it was 2020. Okay, so that's right. So you
Mhm.
snuck it in before the world shut down.
Yes, I probably helped.
Right.
I think about that
No.
all the time because like we were so crammed together. People from all over the world were
Right.
at Disney World.
Yeah, and that was in January, so
in
it's like-
2020.
Right. Yeah. You're like, that wasn't good. But hey, at least you got it in before
Mm-hmm.
races were canceled for that whole year.
Yeah.
Did you have stuff on your calendar after that?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, at least that's
Because I was kind of
Yeah, you
I
said
was
you were
kind of done,
Right.
and so that was it. But when I came back from Disney, obviously I was like, all right, what can I do? And I can't remember what it was that I signed up for. It might have been Flying Pig, or it might have been Grandma's. But anyway, that was before actually everything shut down.
Yeah.
And then even when everything started shutting down, I remember the Carmel Marathon was one of the last ones to like nix it. Like they
Mhm.
pushed it back, I think, one time into like the beginning of June, which is a horrible time to run a marathon. But but I was that's how like on fire I was
Right.
running at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to do it, and then they finally canceled it
Yeah.
altogether. But that led to me coming back to Carmel in 21 because
Okay.
I just carried over my
Oh, yeah.
registration.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Mhm.
How was the weather in 21? Good?
Perfect, I think.
Perfect.
I
Was
mean-
21 when you qualified for Boston?
21 was when I qualified for Boston, yeah.
So you just took that fire from Dopey and just trained for that. That's a long time to like be training with no races. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
experience that.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Like over that year, trying to find races and then being hopeful that they're gonna happen, and then they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. Are you a solo runner? Like, do
Mostly,
you typically train, by yourself?
typically, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. I guess it's a fault of my own, but like a lot of people around my town, even the people that run, they know that I run a lot, and they know that what I can do. So people don't think that I want to run with other people, but I do.
Oh,
Like
yeah. You're
I
just like,
mean,
this is my schedule.
yeah,
So,
like I will happily run with other
yeah.
people, but
Yeah.
no, I just run solo.
Yeah. I'm the same way, though. Like, just because, again, my schedule, not very many people have a schedule that's like I run just kind of when I fit it in. That's not very conducive to planning with other people. But I have started running my long runs with other people, or at least parts of it. Like my coach is local, and so she'll join me for some miles. And then I have a friend I met through this podcast. And so we've started doing our long runs together, which is just nice to have company for some of those really tough ones. But I tend to just run by myself, which I don't mind. But I don't mind running with other people either. Just kind of depends.
I've really wanted to like start a run club in town, and I've been kind of challenged by my first Phorm coach to do that. So maybe that should be in the works here soon.
Well, now you said it out loud.
Yeah,
So
I said it out loud, and it's going to be out there.
it's going to be on the internet.
We're going to hear.
Yeah. Just play that clip over and over.
Commitment now.
Yep. So the Vincennes Running Club. Yeah, I've never been part of a running club, which is so weird because I love community so much, but just for whatever reason, I never have. But I do love running clubs. I think the idea of building that community, especially where you are, is really cool. So
yeah, it's such an easy thing to get out and do together that it's great to see how popular the sport has become,
right?
And that's of course leading to more run clubs and more camaraderie and all that. So it's really cool. Like just the evolution of the sport is
crazy.
Cool. I know we talk about it on our show all the time. About, all these things that happen with the more people doing marathons and getting, these marathon fields getting expanded, but then like Boston marathon qualifying times are getting faster. It's all just a testament to like how popular the sport is, whether you like it or not. Like that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And more people are doing it and more people want to get faster, and that's
I don't like it because I have not qualified for Boston yet. So it's just like, okay, people, stop getting faster. I need some grace here, or at least I want to know what time I have to hit. Would be great. Great. So back to 21 when you qualified for Boston. Was your wife Kelly there? Was your family there?
Yep. And my friend Michael from Lawrence.
All right. So he was there.
Yep.
Is he running too, or is he there to?
Yep. He raced that day. He had already qualified for Boston at Monumental, so he was still good to get in. But yeah, he raced that day, and then we went to Boston together.
Oh, you got to go together. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was kind of always the plan. So I appreciated him waiting for me.
Well, exactly, because it's like, that's so painful. I mean, back to what I was saying about my friend Ashley, I'm like, God, if she goes to Boston without me, like that sucks. We're running friends. Like we're supposed to go together. And so it's just interesting. But seasons of life, or whatever circumstances you're dealing with, make it hard to get that like to line up.
Yeah.
So that's really special.
Yeah, that was kind of always the goal, and then he didn't. I think he wasn't as motivated as I was to do it, but we were definitely, we both had the same coach, obviously, so we look up to him for the same reasons, and it was a good time. Yeah.
Okay, so that would have been 22 then that you did Boston.
22.
Okay. And in 21, after qualifying for Boston, did you do any other races like for fun or as like part leading up to your training?
I know I did Monumental that year.
Yeah. You pretty much do Monumental every year, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Thank you. Good.
Monumental and then the Vincennes Half.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty well my perennial races.
Yeah. Well, mine too now. So I'm surprised I haven't like seen you there at Fort Bend. Well, I'll see you this year.
Yeah.
Because I will be there. And then I had to sign up for the half at Monumental, even though I'm doing Marine Corps, which is 2 weeks before, because our legacy program just was announced. And so I want to get my medallion for doing however many, I think it'll be my 8th half at Monumental.
Okay.
So if you've done 5 or more, you get a medallion. So you'll get a medallion.
5 or more of
the distance.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it has to be each one. I should know.
I've bounced back and forth quite a bit. That's why.
Yeah. So, I mean, same.
I remember a few years ago, we had the really cool, like, 4 medal series, and I missed out on that one because I did the half, I think, a couple times in that time span.
Yeah, it's funny. People loved that and also hated it because if you were traveling in from out of town and you got like a random N, you're like, what the hell? I'm not going to come back. I'm doing my 50 states or like whatever the circumstances might have been. Yeah, it's so funny. So I don't think we'll do that again, but I do. I love our medals now. They feel like so legit. They're so thick and like reminds me of what I've only seen one Olympic gold medal when we had Cole Hawker. I did get to hold it. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Before we nerd out more, I want to talk more about specific races that you've done because we've talked about a few. So the Boston experience, I guess we didn't spend much time on the actual experience of running Boston. What was that like?
Amazing.
That's what everyone says.
I can't really, it's hard to put into words.
Did you race it or did you just go to?
I tried. I mean, I had a very good time, so that's not the case, but I was trying to, I feel like going into Boston, I was actually in probably some of the best shape of my life, but Boston is Boston and you can try to prepare as much as possible, but it takes a special kind of person to be able to go to Boston for the first time in PR. And
I don't know how people do that.
So I think at the time I might have had a half marathon PR going through the halfway point.
There you go.
But yeah, my legs were just dead going up the hills. So
yeah.
But the experience you can't even, like I said, it's hard to put into words. I've never been somewhere where there's just a wall of people on both sides of you for the entire way, like 26 miles of people. And I took my headphones, like when I went and I had them in, but I think I paused them at one point. I turned them back on, but then I ran by a sorority and I couldn't even hear my music.
Right.
So I was I'm staking these out. Like there's no point in even, and you really shouldn't anyway, because the fan support and the crowd support is so unreal that if I go back, I'm definitely not wearing headphones again.
Yeah. Well, I hope I get there some point. And then you've done, speaking of majors, you've done Berlin. Have you done any of the other majors?
Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. So what years did you do those?
I did Chicago last year, Berlin before that. So 3 years in a row, I did Boston, Berlin, and Chicago.
That's pretty cool. How did you get in?
Time.
Yeah,
I qualified for Berlin.
Nice to be fast.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize, I guess, because it's not something that I'm looking to do for other races. I didn't realize you could. I knew you could for New York. I guess I kind of knew for Chicago, but I didn't realize so every major you can time qualify?
Yes, but I think London and Tokyo were pretty stiff, so I don't think I'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
Or at least not. I'm getting older, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that fast. But.
Yeah, and so for London and Tokyo, London, you could join the lottery now, right, for 26.
So, yeah.
It's hard for me to keep track of the windows.
Yeah.
But I'll just see people share that they just entered the lottery, so I'm like, oh, I should probably throw my name in the hat, which I don't think I have yet. And then I forget when I do. I'm like, did I enter the lottery? I have no idea. So have you been entering the lotteries for London and Tokyo?
No. I know a lot of people like to knock them out real quick, but I'm not really.
You started real quick.
I kind of did, and that was kind of the goal, was to do one a year.
Yeah.
But then this year kind of came around, and it's actually my wife and I's 5-year anniversary, so we're taking a big trip in October to Greece.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah. So So if you do the math, right, it's our 5-year anniversary. We got married in 2020.
Oh dear.
So Greece was supposed to be our honeymoon.
Oh.
Anyway, 5-year anniversary.
Yes.
So so that's why I didn't try to do any major races this year, and even like kind of going into spring of next year with London and Tokyo.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of going to Greece, and then it's kind of too quick of a turnaround to try and make another big trip out of it. But but I'm planning on trying to get into New York next year.
Okay.
So hopefully at Monumental, I can run a qualifying time for New York.
Okay. What would that look like for H40?
Quick break in the show to tell you about another sponsor, Foot Levelers. Foot Levelers is the world's leading provider of custom-made orthotics. If there's one thing we know as runners, we got to take care of our bodies. And Foot Levelers creates custom, not one size fits all, custom orthotics that are designed by a scan or mold of your feet so that you get a product that is unique to you as your stride. There is 3-arch support, so most inserts, perhaps some that you've tried before, only support 1 arch in your foot.
And Foot Levelers supports all 3 of the arches that are in your feet, creating a stable foundation for your entire body, which helps with proper alignment that reduces stress on your knees, hips, spine. It's great when you're trying to prevent injuries, or if you're somebody like me who's constantly dealing with everyday back pain from having little kids. And whether you're logging miles, training for a marathon, running, or if you're just on your feet for everyday life, Foot Levelers has orthotics that fit all kinds of shoes, not just running shoes. And they've been trusted for over 70 years. So if you are interested in giving Foot Levelers a try, you can go to footlevelers.com and find a Foot Levelers near you. Thank you so much to Foot Levelers for supporting this podcast and also for supporting our upcoming live event at the Indianapolis Monumental Marathon. Now, back to the show. Okay. What would that look like for age 40?
258.
Cooking.
It is.
Do you work with the coach now? Is first Phorm like?
No.
Tell us what that is. I don't know what that is.
Oh, First Form's supplement. They would tell you they're a people helping business, but they're supplements.
Cool.
Very clean ingredients. Everything's FDA tested. They treat their supplements like food rather than supplements. So that's why I like working with them. They have a very good ambassador or legionnaire program is what they call it. So yeah, they kind of fuel me for my training.
Okay, nice. Do they have gels and nutrition too, or mainly supplement?
Mostly supplements. There's no gels right now. They do have like hydration sticks.
Okay.
But like they've got a lot of the supplements that they have are basically like taking gels. So they've got enough fuel to get you through your run.
Nice. That's cool. Mm-hmm. How long have you been working with them?
A little over a year now.
Okay.
And just kind of in the background, haven't really dove into it a whole lot, but they do such a great job with their ambassadors as far as educating them on the products, and also they've allowed me to start working on my personal nutrition certification so that I can become a coach as well. So it's just a really good company with really good values and a good message that they're putting forward.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to hone in on my nutrition piece because it's so interesting. Runners pay to have a running coach, to go to physical therapy. And now I'm like, well, why don't I invest the time and money in nutrition? Because it's a piece that I've never really tried to dial in very well. Like I like to have gels that don't upset my stomach, but that's about it. So I'm excited to see what's possible there.
It's a tough thing to like really get dialed in. I know a lot of people that like work with me and stuff think that I just eat healthy.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reality, I should eat healthier. With as active as I am and as much miles as I get in, like there's certain things that I do that look healthy on the outside, but maybe it's really not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I run in part so that I don't have to worry as much about what I eat. So you better believe I'm getting a cheeseburger, french fries, and a milkshake after a long run. I love pizza, like all the things. So there's definitely room for improvement, but it's also like I want to live. I don't want to be so stringent that I'm not enjoying the food I love. So it's like a healthy balance for me. But, anyway. Okay, so what about running coach? Have you worked with a coach?
I have, not currently, but for basically the last 4 or 5 years, I've been working with Coach Paul Whitaker, who is out of London. So he's coached me remotely, but fantastic coach. Like he's about under 220 marathoner himself. Just had a baby, so congratulations, Paul.
Paul.
But I'm not working with him right now just because I was trying to take a break.
Yeah.
But then when I decided I was going to train for Indy, I was like, I'm going to see if I can do this myself. See if I've learned enough from Paul over the years that I can do this myself.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of copying and pasting of old
workouts and things like that. Yeah. Well, I think that way too. Sometimes you're like, if I can hold myself accountable, then I know what to do. But I mean, for me, it's like I do love the community that has come part of it, at least locally. Because having a coach that's local, now she has all these athletes. They're not all local, but a lot of them are. And so that's nice. Because then I feel like, while people don't care what times I run, people do care what times I run, if that makes sense. Where it's like you have people who are like cheering for you. So
who's your coach?
I run with Rachel Cinders.
Okay.
So she has Team RMR, Rachel Michelle.
Okay.
So she's the only coach I've ever had for running. And I used to think I didn't need one. And now I totally understand why it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's definitely like good and bad ones too. Cause like Paul, so I talked about how I didn't really have a coach early on. When I finally did kind of break down and decide I wanted to get a coach, my first coaching experience was just really not that good. So,
then you're like, is this what it's like? This sucks.
Yeah. So it was pretty bad. And I just, from the way that I started working with Coach Paul, I think I got like one of his random Instagram ads or something like that. And I clicked on it, and I just remember getting a message from him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've already got a coach right now. Tell me why I should switch to you.
Yeah.
And that's all I said.
Yeah.
And he sent me back this big long message about he'd already like looked at me and kind of knew what kind of capability I already had. And I was just like, all right, well,
cool.
So yeah, let's try it. And the rest is history.
Wow. That's really cool. So how was Berlin?
Berlin was awesome. That was probably the funnest marathon that I think I've done.
Yeah.
I also had fun there. Like I didn't really race that one, but yeah, it was a great experience. And like just going to Germany and being there, and they put on a great event too, with shakeout runs and breakfasts and all kinds of stuff. Like the race itself put on this gigantic shakeout run that ended in the stadium, and they had just breakfast for everybody, like thousands of people.
Wow.
And I was like, that was really awesome. So
had you ever been out of the country?
Yes. Okay. That was not my first time out of the country.
I've talked to people, it's their first time out of the country. I'm like, first time ever leaving the country, you're going to run a marathon? That's insane. Was it your first time in Germany?
It was, yeah. First time in Europe.
So. Okay. Yeah. I feel like Germany, compared to other European countries, is pretty efficient, which is nice for marathons. Being like organized and...
Yeah, Berlin was definitely very easy to get around. The expo for it, at least the year I did, I don't know if they do it the same every year, but it's in this like old airplane hangar. So it's a really cool like setting for the expo. So I liked that a lot.
Nice. Did you travel with anyone else who was running the race?
Nope, that one was just me and Kelly. We just took a solo trip over there. Went and took in the sights of Germany, did a concentration camp, went to the wall, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But we stayed there for about a week afterwards.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice to be able to enjoy. Although like walking around Europe, because you do a lot of walking in Europe, it's probably good for you, frankly, but also kind of hard. Yeah. Well, and we were chatting with Kelly before we recorded about how hard it is to spectate. And so for her, like she's by herself trying to figure out how to navigate Germany. Did she like try to bop around in Berlin?
No, she didn't.
That'd be so hard.
Well, yeah, and Berlin's a loop course, so it's a little easier, I would think, to do that. Plus, and obviously I wasn't a spectator, but I think they work the train system or the subway system in conjunction with the race too, so they make it really easily
for you to understand. Like,
to kind of
you
see.
should get off here if that's what you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah, that sort of thing.
That's so helpful. Yeah. Did you watch the rollerbladers?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We got right up on we were actually under the Tear Garden monument that's right there in the middle of their park, and I just watch them start the starting line. They were just coming straight at us, and then they break into two formations to go around the roundabout, and it was pretty neat.
Yeah, I think that would be such a sight to see. I had no idea that was a thing until I had this woman on my podcast who she actually did the rollerblading to qualify for the next.
I either heard you talking about that.
Yeah. And I was like, that's hilarious. It just, to me, it's funny. And I don't know why it's so funny. I'd never really been a rollerblader. Mm-hmm. And so maybe that's why it's funny. Thinking about myself trying to do that is comical. But yeah, people training for that. But then you see the videos of the the people who are.
Oh, yeah.
Holy, it's incredible.
Yeah, they had like their formations and everything. It was
You're like,
pretty wild.
That's a whole nother sport. So then Berlin, and then was Chicago. Was Chicago last year?
Last year.
Okay, last year. I've done Chicago 4 times. I love Chicago. I was just there this last weekend. I love running there. There's just something about that city. It was my first marathon, and so like it's just so special.
It's got that special place, yeah.
But how was that last year?
It was all right. It was a great experience because it was actually the first time that me and Jake and Carolyn all got together.
Oh, and met in person.
Yeah. So it was the first time that we'd all met in person, all three of us.
That's so funny to think about.
Yeah.
After like the amount of time you spent talking.
Yeah, it is. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, so in that regard, it was a very special race. We got to record an episode, which the sound was a little iffy on, but
of course. It's so hard. Yeah, on the road, you're like, oh, okay.
But yeah, it was a fun time overall. And I don't know if I'll go back and do Chicago again anytime soon. I really want to do speaking of just running in Chicago, I wanted to
Yeah.
do Soldier Field 10 before they tear down Soldier Field. So that's
see, I didn't know that was a race, and I didn't know they were tearing down Soldier Field either.
well, they're getting I don't know that they're tearing it down, but like they're building a new stadium.
Okay, see, I don't know.
For the Bears.
Okay.
So I assume that it's probably got less than 5 years left. but
Okay. Does it end in the stadium?
yes.
That's
So it's
cool.
similar to the Colts 5K, but it's a 10-miler.
Yeah,
So-
that's fun. Yeah, I've done, oh my gosh, I don't even know the name of the race I did in Nashville, Tennessee, where we finished in the stadium.
Mhm.
So cool. I've done at least one other one. Illinois, maybe, finishes in the stadium. I don't know. But now our Monumental Kids 5K for Beyond Monumental, we also finish in the Lucas Oil, which is
Awesome.
just like seeing those kids in there, so cool. Because most of them's never even been in an NFL stadium ever. So
I'm running that 5K for the first time this year, so I'm looking forward to
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, that'll be fun. We talked a little bit about Dopey. Do you do costumes for Disney?
No, not really. We kind of get some shirts made,
Okay.
but nothing.
So you're just
Nothing
kind of, I mean,
crazy.
there's a whole series of levels of Disney.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
seen,
yeah.
You know,
I bought a Daffy Duck hat this year, so
Yeah.
I ran in that a couple times, but no, we didn't. We don't
Didn't
go
go all
that.
out.
Yeah, we don't go that crazy.
the people watching there has to be fantastic.
It is, yeah, for sure, just Disney in general. But yeah, it's you definitely see some interesting costumes, that's for sure.
Yeah. Will you do that? So how many times have you done Dopey?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you do that again? Do you?
Disney, I probably will, but Disney's getting. I don't like the direction that they're going with like their running. Yeah, they're making it more everyday kind of person friendly, which is good. Kind of getting, it's harder to get in. Like for instance, like
Yeah.
when you sign up, last year when we signed up, Dopey sold out within 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I did Dopey this past year, but my sister didn't get in, my brother didn't get in.
Oh, geez.
So like I was the only one that ended up doing all four of them.
Yeah.
Now it was great. I had somebody to run with every day,
Yeah.
but just never the same people every day.
Right. Right. Okay. So you mentioned sister, brother, and then you have another brother.
Mhm.
Does he run too? Do you all run?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool.
My brothers aren't really like runners per se. My older,
Well, you make the bar quite high for that. Like,
yeah, yeah,
It's my whole
ki-
personality.
kind of, yeah. They got their own things going
Yeah.
on, which is really good. But
Yeah.
yeah, they run to stay in shape, and
Yeah.
they've all got their own little fitness goals. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've ran races I think with every one of them at some point.
That's cool. That's
So-
really cool. And you've done Indy Mini, which you mentioned.
Mhm.
That's our local race that goes around the Motor Speedway, which is super cool.
Mhm.
How many
Not-
times have you done that?
I think only 2 or 3. I
Okay.
haven't done that one a whole lot. I really like the Flying Pig in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Um,
which is the same weekend.
yeah, it's the same weekend, so I've been to that one 2 or 3 times too. But I'd like to make it to the Mini more often.
Yeah, you should. It's great. But also, I'm intrigued by doing the Flying Pig too. Some people go back to back. Have you done that?
As in,
Like they run the Mini on Saturday and then they go to Flying Pig on Sunday.
okay. No, I have not done
Like your
that.
own little Dopey.
Because normally when I do the Flying Pig, I kind of do the Dopey. I don't know what you know about the Flying Pig,
Oh,
but
clearly not enough.
so they have their own challenge, which is
Okay.
so Skyline Chili puts on the Flying Pig, so it's kind of centered around that. But they have the 3-way with cheese, or they have
That's
three.
so
they have
funny.
the
I did not know
so they have the
this.
chili 3-way.
Mm-hmm.
And the chili 3-way is so on Saturday at the Flying Pig,
Making me so hungry, actually.
they do the 10K and the 5K.
Okay.
So to do the chili 3-way, you do both of those races. On the Sunday, they do the half marathon and the full marathon at the same time.
Yeah. So you have to.
So the
pick one
chili
of
3-way is the half marathon with the 5K and the 10K.
those. Okay.
Chili 4-way is the full marathon with the 5K and the 10K. And then you can do the 3-way or the 4-way with cheese. They do a 1-mile race on Friday
oh
night.
my God.
So
With cheese. Like who's gonna
Yeah.
get it without cheese?
exactly. Go do the mile.
Yeah.
You're already running. You're
That's
already running so much.
funny. I didn't realize all of that. I spent a lot of time with people from Cincinnati because where I went to college was in Ohio. And it was like I went to Miami of Ohio, which is between Dayton and Cincinnati.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we had a Skyline chili on campus. So I've had many, many chili 3-ways, probably not while sober, but my dad also really likes Skyline. So when we were growing up, he would take us a lot and we'd always be like, please don't take us to Skyline. But that was his jam. So we would go and we would eat it and it's delicious. Do they have it at the finish line?
Oh yeah, you get like a free. You get the free dish and everything.
Oh
so
my gosh. Did you eat it at the finish line?
Maybe.
Have you done the marathon or the half?
I don't think I've done the full at the Flying Pig before. I think I've always done the chili 3-way.
Okay.
So I do want to do the 4-way with cheese at some point. So
It sounds
like a
so
kind of,
silly.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know when that'll happen.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I've chatted with people during the mini, like while running. I saw a guy with a flying pig shirt and I was like, hey, you running tomorrow too? And he's like, yep, you're nuts. But it is possible. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
that far from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were racing, it's a different story. But if you're just going to cover the mileage and have fun, then although it's pretty hilly there.
It is. Yeah, that's a hilly course.
So that scares me. But the mini is super flat. So certainly possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then what other races have you done?
well, I flew out to my youngest brother lives in Phoenix. I flew out to do Mesa.
That's
with
right.
him.
Okay, Mesa.
Yeah, that was I did the half marathon there. That's my half marathon PR because it's a net downhill course.
Yeah.
So it's like that. It's
Yeah.
and they like, especially in the half marathon, like they tell you that it's like, oh, it seems pretty flat. No, like I could look out and see people below me.
That's
It
amazing.
was-
Yes.
It was pretty intense. So I had fun with that race.
Yeah, that's so nice. My half PR for the longest time was one of the Run Rebel races.
Oh,
because
really?
they bus you to the top of a mountain and you run down the mountain. So I totally understand why they changed the rules for Boston qualifying, but I also was secretly disappointed because I was like, I'm going to go run down a mountain because I need all the help I can get. I understand why people think it's like cheating, but I'm like, it wasn't. It was,
Right.
now it would be, like, because you can't use that time. So yeah. Oh, that's cool. Okay, to see. So he still lives there?
Yep.
And where does your sister and then your other brother live?
Sister lives
Oh, that's right, here.
a couple miles away, I think.
That's
from
right. Okay.
And my other brother lives down in Illinois,
Okay.
not far from us.
Okay. Nice. Man, you've done so many races. What are, outside of the majors, what are other races that you want to run?
I would like to make it back to Grandma's. I didn't actually run Grandma's, which is in Duluth, Minnesota, in case anybody doesn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the reason it's a good race is because it's in June, but it's all the way up north, so it's not usually as hot as your typical June race. But I did go up there the year that I signed up, but it was the same year that I did Berlin, and I was dealing with a nasty little hip injury at the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make it worse and then risk Berlin
Right,
not
that makes
happening.
sense.
So we still went there and I still watched the race,
That had to be
spectated
so
a little bit.
hard.
It was
Oh,
it was kind of seeing everybody, and I still met a lot of people there, which was a good time too. But yeah, I definitely want to get some redemption for that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
I can understand that.
And then I'd like to make it out to CIM, and do a
Ooh,
California race
yeah.
sometime.
That one sounds real nice.
And Vegas Rock and Roll is probably at the top of mine.
Good, because I've signed up for next year already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on out. I do it every year now.
Yeah, my uncle lives there, so I could.
Oh, see? More family.
Yeah.
That's a great excuse. Yeah.
Exactly.
I have grown to love it. It's a hard race to race, at least for me personally, because you're like, it's at night, but you've worked night shift and flipped around your schedule, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun environment to be in for sure.
It looks like so much fun. I've done 2 other rock and roll races, so that one's definitely at the top of my bucket
they
list.
do a nice job for sure. You've won a race. Or maybe more than one. I don't know. But you've won the Vincennes Half.
Yeah, it's the hometown race, so I got to show out and represent.
I mean, hometown race or not, how did that feel? They have tape. They better have had tape.
Maybe.
They should have tape because I feel like
I mean, they have the whole.
opportunity to win and like break the tape would be so fun.
The first year I can't remember. The second year I had fun with it. Kelly met me about a half mile from the finish line and handed the dog off to me, so I finished the race with
your dog,
with my dog. And
Oliver.
Yeah.
I love that name. Do you call him Ollie?
No, that was the plan, but he just never really responded to it. So stuck with Oliver.
Like Ollie. He's like, no. And you're like, Oliver. He's like, all right, that's it.
That's like my mom. My mom's name's Kimberly, but my aunt's the only one that can call her Kim. So
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Did you win the race with Oliver?
Mhm.
That's cool.
It was pretty cool. I mean, it's always fun to win a race, obviously, and to be able to win a race in front of like your hometown is fun too. It's like a young race, the Vincennes Half is, but we got a really good young group of people that are putting it on every year.
Cool.
So the future for it looks really good. I think we had around 300 people last year, maybe.
Fun.
So, but yeah, it's a great time. And like I said, Vincennes has got like some sneaky history and
Yeah.
some pretty nice scenery for a small town. So
Right. What time of year is that one?
April. So
April.
it's early
Okay.
April.
Early April. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then is it flat?
Yeah, very flat. Yeah.
Which I don't know, because southern Indiana, there's
Mhm.
some hills down there, some
Yeah,
places.
some kind of rolling hills, but no, this one's pretty flat.
Yeah, okay. Flatter than Carmel?
Yeah.
Because people got mad at me for saying Carmel was flat. They're like rolling hills. I'm like, well, I guess it is, but compared to like Geist or Fort Bend that have what I would call hills,
Yeah.
I feel like Carmel doesn't have any hills to speak of.
I remember like the second time I did Carmel thinking that it was hillier than I remembered it.
Yeah,
But even that's on like the first half, really. It's like you said, rolling hills.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I always convince myself that my muscles just need a change. So it's nice when there's a little bit of elevation.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just talking to myself about not monumental, but Marine Corps is really hilly, like the first 5 or 6 miles. So I'm a little nervous about that.
I'd like to do that one too.
It's incredible.
My chiropractor's done that one a few times.
Yeah,
so.
it's really cool. You go it's a true tour of DC, which, right now is a little nuts. So that'll be interesting to see how come race day, I hope everything is like a little calmer
Yeah, with the way they've got
with the way things are
yeah.
going right now. But, we shall see.
We've talked about doing cherry blossom next
Okay.
year because Carolyn's done it a few times. Jake, through his run club, has a bid to it for next year. So
Oh, perfect. That would be fun.
I'd like to do that one.
Carolyn's in Texas, right?
Mhm.
Okay, we didn't talk about where she was at.
Yeah.
Which city?
Right outside Dallas.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, for Cherry Blossom, I have family in Alexandria, Virginia.
Hmm.
And so I would love to go and then stay with them. And I'm staying with them for Marine Corps. And I would love to have another excuse to go out there. My brother-in-law is a big runner. He does the JFK 50 miler. He did
Oh,
that
wow.
for the first time last year. I think he's going to do it again this year. So I'm like, I want to go out there for more stuff. So we'll see. But that one's hard to get into. It sells out.
The
I
50
think.
miler?
Or not the 50 miler.
Or
Well, probably
or
that
the
one
Cherry
too. But
Blossom.
the Cherry Blossom.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's so interesting how races now are just like for monumental, we're going to sell out earlier probably than we ever have, which is crazy.
I actually didn't sign up till like a week
Yeah.
or two ago. I got the email that said like 75% full, I
Right.
think. And I
I'm
was
like,
just like, okay,
geez,
I'm
I'll
signing up.
Make sure I get it. Yeah, I know. We had our board meeting and literally they were talking about it. And then we talked about the legacy program. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll sign up. And I volunteer too. So it's always just a really fun weekend.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh my gosh. We've been talking for over an hour.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like literally, we just talk about running all day.
I'd
Miss
like
Kelly
yeah, I
is
still-
just reading books in the library. We'll be like,
Probably, yeah.
she's having a great time.
If that's what she's doing, she's definitely having a great time.
So I'm going to ask you the end of the podcast questions now.
Okay.
And then I also want to talk a little bit more about like nerdy running stuff too, because there's always time for that. So first question is, what is your favorite running mantra and or song?
So my favorite running mantra, and I guess it's not really a running mantra, but more like a nutritional mantra, but I love it, and I'm stealing it from one of our podcast guests, and I
Okay.
think he stole it from somebody else too, but I'm totally giving him credit. But that's Olympic marathoner Keith Brantley,
Okay.
who ran the 1996 Olympics. But he was on our show one time, and the thing that he said that will stick with me for all of time is the solution to pollution is dilution. And I, basically drink your water. And I cannot agree with that enough because obviously I've been running for a really long time.
Yeah.
I've had my share of injuries. And, every time I get injured, I can look back and probably pinpoint maybe I wasn't stretching right. Maybe I wasn't doing my strength work or I wasn't
Mhm.
warming up, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's always one thing that's common every time I get injured. And I'm like, I have not been drinking enough water. So I love that saying. And I love the fact that he said that on our podcast because I drink so much water all the time. It's just kind of, I truly believe that if you just drink a lot of water, you can avoid a lot of injuries.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always something I can improve on.
Mhm.
I went through a time where I had like the big gallon jug
Mhm.
that I would try to drink every day. I did okay, but at least it made me more aware of how much I was drinking because
Mhm.
otherwise I carry around my Stanley all the time. But I don't know necessarily how much I'm drinking, but I try to do better.
I used to set out the first thing I would do at the beginning of the week, I would come in with an entire case of water and
Okay.
put it under my desk.
And be like,
And every day, the first thing I would do is I'd get out 5 of them and set them on my desk. And it was visual management and really,
Right.
and automotive manufacturing, that's a big thing. So it was like, but it told me exactly where I was throughout the day.
Right.
And if I got to lunch and I still had over 3 bottles of
Right.
water, I needed to
Catch
drink
up.
some water.
Yeah.
And it was really easy too, because I could just grab one and take it with me.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, on the water bottles, it's funny, the gallon one that I mentioned, it'd be like motivational, like 2 p.m., like keep going, you can do it. It's like, oh my gosh. But then anyway. Okay, and then music. When you do listen to music, what's your song?
man, I'm all over the
song.
place, really. I mean, all time I've got my own little songs that will always be on my running playlist. But recently I've kind of gone through like a transition this year, and I don't know if it's something with turning 40 or whatnot, but I'm branching off in some of my musical tastes. But something that I've been weirdly into recently is beatboxing.
Oh,
And there's this one song out by this band called Beat Pella House, which is a Korean group of beatboxers, and it's called Freaky Monday. And it is incredible. Like you will not believe that it's just people using their voices and their mouths, because it's incredible. But
Okay.
it is like, it's the song that gets me going for the past week or so.
that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to go listen.
It's crazy.
That sounds nuts. I can't even fathom what it sounds like. Yeah. That's
It
a whole
really is.
subculture, I'm sure.
Yeah,
beatboxing.
like I said, I've just been on weirdly into like different kinds of music this
Yeah.
year. My Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year is going to look way different than
Oh
it
my
ever
gosh, mine's
has.
always so weird having young kids. It's just like, you never know what's going to be on there. Okay, and so then the next question is next finish line and or milestones. We talked about your 5-year wedding anniversary. That's
Mhm.
big. You obviously just hit a milestone birthday. When did you turn 40?
In December.
Okay, December. Okay.
Mhm.
And then, so what's your next finish line?
I mean, it's monumental, really. I'm
Okay.
trying to qualify for New York.
There. Okay.
That wasn't part of the plan originally at the beginning of the year. I wasn't planning on training for anything, but I kind of realized that I was like, well, if I want to start doing the majors again, I kind of need to look at, I started thinking about, we talked about London and Tokyo
Yep.
already, and just didn't want to do 2 back-to-back overseas trips like that.
Right.
So yeah, we'll try to qualify for New York in Indianapolis.
It's flat and fast. You've done it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got to pray that it's not windy like that one time. Just that one
Windy or
time. Or
under
like
20 degrees.
ice rain or whatever. Yeah.
Been pretty all right the last couple of years.
Last couple of years, it's been just wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that streak can continue.
Yeah, it's been perfect, because last year Carolyn visited, and the year before that Jake visited the Monumental. So like, they've just got really good memories of it right
Yeah,
now.
good. Are they going to come back this year?
Not this year, I don't
Oh,
think.
man.
Jake was talking about it, but
Okay.
I don't think I quite talked him into it.
Maybe after he listens to this, he'll come.
Yeah,
He should. It's almost sold out.
right?
Plus, it's just every year bigger, better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
But he still, like, he maintains that that's one of his favorite races. He loves it. So
Yeah, I
he had
mean,
a great
obviously
experience.
I'm biased, but I mean, for people that want to run fast, it's like, well, this is a great place to do it. And it's less expensive to get to, less expensive to stay and eat here, like all the things. It's just great all around for people who are looking to run fast.
Indy's just so underrated.
It is. Yeah, and we've got Cole Hawker.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good having him come.
Oh yeah,
He was
I
incredible.
was psyched.
He was like the sweetest human. I got to meet him after. It was like the best thing ever. He was just so kind. He's just such a kid. You're like, wow, this kid. And he's just so good. I just love cheering him on.
I was in the middle of the break room at work whenever that race was going on, and I just like, as he won, I stood up and I was like, and I look around and people are like looking at me funny. I was like, we just want a gold medal. That's all I said. I was like, we got a gold medal.
You're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That race. I don't think I watched it live. I think I watched it right after it happened though. Because I don't know what I was doing. I'm like trying to even remember when that was, like what time of year. Summer.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it would have been August of last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
about a year ago almost.
Yeah. Crazy. And then a couple other running. I want to know what your hat's from because I've been looking at it this whole time.
Yeah, it's from Alter Ego. Alter Ego running.
Oh, I knew that. I should have known
Yeah.
that. I should have known that because you also work with them.
I
You're
do,
the
yeah.
ambassador for them.
Mm-hmm. They're probably one of the first company that I ever started working with as an ambassador a few years ago now. But I mean, I just like wearing their hats, and
Yeah, it's so
they're-
cool.
Yeah, they have great designs. They're really breathable, and they're like, I like them because they're functional for like not just running. Like I
Yeah.
can wear it right. I don't
You can
feel
wear it
weird
anytime.
wearing it out in public. Like I'm not wearing like a small little Crusher hat, which it's just not my thing. Like that's just not my look. But
Crusher hat. I've never heard that.
yeah, I like the little.
I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I've never heard it called that.
But yeah, so yeah, I really enjoy Alter Ego. Their hats are just bar none the best that I wear.
And do they have, what else do they have outside of hats? I know their hats are really
They
popular.
do sunglasses. They've got a
Okay.
few different things. I got one of their running bags that's really functional. It's got a
Oh.
little pocket for the shoes.
That's key.
And then just like some other clothes and stuff, but mostly just hats.
Okay. And what else do you nerd out about when it comes to running? Are you like more of a gear guy or are you like super into the sport guy or both?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, shoes, you could definitely get me on for a while.
What do you race in usually?
Right. Usually it's always been Nike ever since,
Oh.
basically since Vaporflies.
Okay.
I've been Nike, but this past year for Chicago, I went with Asics, got the Meta Speed Skies,
Mhm.
and really liked them. I'm still
Okay.
doing my speed workouts in them here and there.
Nice. Nice.
So I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm gonna stick with those for the Monumental again. I mean, I'm not gonna stick with those. I'll get a new pair if I'm gonna stick with Asics or
Right.
go back to Nike. I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. I can't run a Nike for whatever reason. They just aren't great for my feet. So I now go back and buy Asics. I've been an Asics girl forever, but I also really like Saucony and I like Brooks. So I have just too many shoes.
Yeah, I'm big on Saucony. I love the Endorphin lineup. Like the Endorphin Speeds have been
same. They're so fun.
the first Endorphin Speeds are still my favorite running shoe of all
Yeah.
time, and the new ones, the 5s, are really good too. I like those a lot.
I just need to stop spending money. That's what I need.
I cooled off a lot. Like there was like a couple years ago, I bought way too many shoes.
Yeah.
And I had to like,
Did.
yeah.
Okay, that's I know. I'm like I need to work with more shoe brands somehow so that I can just get the shoes.
Yeah. Jake has that going for him down there, and with his run club. Like I said, that
Oh, that's
Jacksonville
nice.
run club community
Yeah.
is really great. They're actually, I think he's sponsored by like OnCloud right now.
Oh,
Or
okay.
their run club is sponsored by
Okay.
OnCloud right now. So
That's cool.
he's been getting a few pairs of those shoes, which I've never ran on OnClouds before. So
Well, I worked at what was Jackrabbit in Indianapolis, now is owned by Fleet Feet, and I worked there for a year and I learned a lot. But what I learned was I did not like On shoes at all until I found the Cloud Surfers. Those are the only Ons I've ever run in, and they're my treadmill shoes. So I do like those. But some of their shoes, I'm like, yeah, they look nice, but they, for me, weren't great for running.
I
But
think when they went away from that speed board, it started to,
yeah, get a little
little bit better.
more like a running shoe. You're like,
Right.
okay, this
Yeah.
is what we're looking for, really.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much for coming up here to do this.
Hey, no problem. This
So
is a great
fun
time.
to meet you in person. It's always better than doing it virtually.
Indiana people got to stick together. right?
Yeah, we do. So go listen to Run Talk Live. Where do you host it? Anywhere like Spotify?
Yep.
all
Spotify,
the
YouTube.
places? Okay.
You can find it on Spotify or YouTube. So
Okay. And where can people find you on TikTok and Instagram?
Chaser No Pacer.
I like
Pretty
that.
much anything that any of the social media platforms. If you look for that, that's me.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who's listened.
Mhm.
And like I always say, the 2 people who've watched, because I don't know how many people watch the video, but happy running
Yeah.
to you all.
Yeah. Happy.
All right. We did it.
Awesome.
If you enjoyed this episode of Finish Lines and Milestones from Sandy Boy Productions, please go share, rate, review. I appreciate your support so much. We can also be internet friends if you'd like. I'm Allie, Ally T Brett, Brett. That's Allie T Brett _runs. Hope to see you again next week.